Okay. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna lead in.
Go for it.
Lean in and kiss me. Well,
What a false start.
yeah. Call out, false starts, penalty, 5 yards. That's a football thing.
You knew more than I did.
I don't know if that's a real thing. Well,
It's a real thing.
welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Common Ground Podcast, your favorite podcast where we talk about your favorite format, Pauper. This is episode 34. I am your host, Cameron Schindler, joined as always by the desert-dwelling Thomas Gunn. What is up, you desert dweller?
I'm good. Enjoying the desert, getting
Is it
more work
hot?
in, hanging out, having a good time. It's not that hot up here.
Oh, that's
It's not that hot at all. It's Flagstaff. It's up north. It's 7,000 feet up in the air. It's not hot. It's just dry. It's still a desert, but only really because technically, like, I'm looking out the window. There's still lots of trees and stuff.
It's an elevated desert.
The high desert.
Gotcha.
A perfect place for me.
That's funny. Also joined by our other co-host, Mr. James Hippo Hieronymus, who is going to read a review for us. How are you doing, James?
I am doing all right, thank you.
Do I need to pull up that review?
You should do that.
I got it right here. As promised, you leave a review, which you should do if you enjoy the show.
And then
helps with algorithm stuff. And Hippo reads it live
on the
pod.
podcast. All right. So from K Teo 16, great Pauper podcast for MTG, the best one out there. Great quality. Thank you for all you do and keep up the great work. Thank you, KTO.
Yeah, thank you for the
Hell
kind
yeah.
words. It makes me smile when
It
somebody enjoys us talking. It does.
Talking into microphones
I
about
know.
Magic the Gathering cards.
Today we're gonna talk about Bloomburrow spoilers. We got Bloomburrow out. Hippo and I played some more in paper person Pauper, and then last we will go over some challenges and fun stuff. So we gotta maybe spoilers won't take the longest. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
But,
this is not the most exciting set for
know.
commons. I'll be honest.
But yeah, which is a little.
There's a couple on here that I'm pretty hyped about.
Yeah, which is like I think is good for Pauper. I don't think every set needs to shake up Pauper.
Oh, I
in
agree.
every way. So that's its own discussion.
And they're not,
anyway.
and it's not going to because of like the power level of draft and limited environments these
Yeah.
days. Like there will be a handful of cards, but like, you know, it's okay that there isn't a ton of stuff every set.
You need a really broken limited set to like kind of skew Pauper, like MH3 and Writhing Chrysalis.
Which-
like a common being first pickable, that's a good sign it might see some Pauper play.
Yeah, it is super rare though nowadays that does happen because they have such a high focus on limited.
Yeah, but it's weird. You think of like I think Tolarian Terror like really impacted Pauper in a big way, but like that didn't like.
But I don't
break
think it was
limited.
like amazing in that limited format.
Yeah,
either.
so I guess that's not necessarily true when I said that it needs to like.
Like it was fine in that limited format, but it wasn't anything to write home about.
Okay, are we gonna go in Wooburg order? I assume.
Yeah.
Who wants to start us off with
I
the
got
first
one.
white card? Our white mage Hippo.
I have no white cards. So
I have-
someone else needs to go.
I have
two
white
white
cards. I
cards.
also have 2 white cards.
I bet they're the same.
They might be. So my first one is the pretty obvious one. We'll go with Carrot Cake. So, for those who are unfamiliar with what Carrot Cake does, it is 1 and a white for an artifact that is also a food. And when Carrot Cake enters the battlefield and when you sacrifice it, create a 1/1 white rabbit creature token and scry 1. And you can pay 2, tap it, and sacrifice it, and you gain 3 life. It's another lovely little trinkety artifact that I get to blink with my Skyfishers and my Glenhawks.
We get a lot of those now. I feel like they learned their lesson with Experimental Synthesizer in that this says when you sacrifice it and not when it leaves play.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I was gonna call that out too.
And I think it got I wish it had the little extra push because I think it'd be an alright card if it had that push.
I think the fact that it not only makes a body but lets you look at a card is probably why that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's fair. It might
Because
be
you
a
do
little
have
too
to
good.
pay for an activated cost to make a body off of the synthesizer, but you get the added bonus of it entering and leaving.
It being a food too, like cushioning your life seems really good, especially in this aggressive meta that we're starting to lean more into.
Is there a shot or no, never mind. I was gonna say, is there a shot that this is something we'd want over Limbus? Like,
No.
is it not because Limbus shuffles itself back in? Is that the real reason?
And it gives you a card.
Well, this gives you a body and looks at a card. It doesn't give you a card, but it essentially is giving you a card by putting a body into play.
Yeah, but Limbus, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, the card is, like, the 1/1 token, but I think, like, bouncing Limbus, like...
This is cardboard theory.
You get to scry and draw, so it's like you get to look at a card and you get to draw the card of Limbus, and Limbus also has that bonus being a food, so that, as well as this one does, yeah. But you can do fun. I can feel smart and be like, with the Limbus trigger on the stack, I would like to sacrifice it and you shuffle it.
And you are more than welcome to do that. But I guess if you're more aggressively leaning, this is probably more what you're looking for then.
Where would this see play, you think?
Probably something in one of these, like, with a deck with quote the package.
The package?
But probably wouldn't go with all 16 of the package. So you can get Glenhawk in there as well. So, you know, you get as much value out of this card as you can. Because, I mean, you may not necessarily need, like, a full card out of this one in the, like, more aggressive strategies. Like, just being able to look further for a specific card, maybe not just drawing a random card, is probably fine.
That's fair. I think, like, Mono White is a... Like, if Mono White had a for Mirrodin style equipment, I think it would easily pick up Glenhawk. So maybe, like, this isn't enough for the deck to pick up this and Glenhawk, but, like, this is pushing towards that direction. I think White can play Glenhawk at some point if it gets enough artifacts that enter and make a body.
Yeah, I think the deck looks a little bit different if assuming that you wanted to play Glenhawk. I don't think it's quite there yet, but this is leaning in that direction.
Right. I mean, you could play Carrot Cakes. You could play the Ancient Dens. You could play, even like Candy Trail if you really wanted to.
There are a couple small equipment that aren't too bad. Like Mandibular Kite's another good one.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a sword. There's like a sword from the Baldur's Gate set. I think it is. It's like.
That taps things.
Yeah, the Great Sword.
Yeah, that
card's
Great Sword of Tyr.
sick. Like, we'll see that pop up as a fun of one of. Man, that's a good fun of one of for Mono White, honestly, dude.
Yeah.
Like, tap, if they get a flyer, I think that card should see play in Mono White.
There's also actually, spoiler, I actually have one more white card than probably both of you do, but the, like, Anthem style creatures that, like, can pay mana to bump your team are also, like, yeah, that's one of them. That's not the only card I have, but that's one of them.
Yeah.
Any of those, like the unicorn that already exists that you can pay like 4 or 5 and like pump your entire team +1/+1, which is not the worst thing. And it being on a body is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're getting into the trenches on Mono White.
Cameron may have seen the light.
Yeah, the white.
Oh Lord,
the deck is good.
The deck is really good.
It's been doing good.
I'm gonna move it over to my next white card. I have Life Creed Duo. It's 1 and a white for a 1/2 flying. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. So, and I just imagine Mono White again because Mono White plays the Luminarch Veteran, and in that one I think it sees play because it in itself is a 2-for-1. If it dies, you can play it as a 2-mana 1/1 flyer, which is fine. But I think that deck, like the front side of Luminarch Aspirant with this ability, when another creature enters, you gain 1 life.
You mean Luminarch Veteran?
Yeah. What did I say?
At Luminarch Aspirant.
Same thing. But
Luminarch Aspirant. No, 2 very different cards.
That ability is like pretty sneaky and it gaining you life. So if like you're racing against a deck, it's kind of annoying because if they have to point a burn spell at it or a removal spell at it, it just kind of did a really good job already. And I feel like this Life Creed Duo card, not only can it be annoying, it also can fly in the air and poke in for some damage, something that Luminarch Aspirant does not do. Luminarch Veteran does not do.
You'll get there eventually.
And plus, it is a bat bird. Thomas, our buddy, Mr. Bitter, he pointed out on the art, it's a bat and a robin.
That's fun.
It's a Life Creed Duo.
That's funny.
Isn't that awesome? So I like the card even more now.
A nice dynamic duo.
Yeah. So thoughts on this card, you two? I envisioned it in...
Yeah, this was one of my cards that I had on my list.
Like, did you have the same thought as me? Like, kind of like in a mono white shell, maybe?
Yeah, any of those like I say, I've already had the idea of like playing the unicorn or whatever that I had previously mentioned, and so this is kind of in the same vein as that. Yeah, it seems totally fine.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's like too much to unpack. Thomas, you didn't seem too high on it. What's up?
No, I mean it's a 2 mana for a 1/2. Like, yes, it flies. Yes, it has the Soul Sister text, but like we already have a bunch of 1 mana Soul Sisters that we can play if you really want to go down that path. And a 2 mana 1/2 flyer, I think, is just not good enough on rate for the format. I mean, it creates interesting things where if you wanted to maybe splash blue for what's the draw spell that's 1 mana if you have a human and a non-human?
Of One Mind?
Of One Mind from Ikoria. Like, you could do, because all the other Soul Sisters are all humans, so you could, like, this is a human and non-human if you want to do like white, blue, go wide, Soul Sisters, something like.
Yeah, but like
maybe there's something there. And there's a bunch of random cards that call out bats and birds, but this is just kind of not exciting.
The whole mono white deck doesn't really play like on like of rate creatures though. Like,
yeah, they do.
It plays 1 mana 1/1s and 1 mana 1/2s.
No,
those are on.
Those are on rate.
Okay, that's
for
fair.
1 mana for Pauper.
I was like, how?
And it 2 mana 3/2s, 3 mana 2/3s to vigilance.
I mean, I think a 2 mana 1/2
4
flying
mana
is fine.
plus tap 2 creatures for 4 1/1 flyers.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think this is like underrated. I think this is like slightly less than what the mono white deck is looking for.
I guess it just plays like Lunarch Vet. I think Lunarch Veteran and Militia Bugler are like the only two that are like off rate for bodies. Like
a 2/3 vigilance that.
I mean, I'm not saying
creature?
the ability itself,
Oh, I
but
was
the
like-
body itself. Yeah.
like,
No,
it's
I'm just
pretty
saying
good.
the body itself.
Oh, well, 2/3 vigilance for 3 is not terrible.
It's not great, but like you said, though,
I
it draws you a card immediately.
I think I think the best part about the other than the the fact that it draws a card itself is that it can tap after it's attacked, which is pretty insane. Like for tap for abilities, it's like prismatic strands and like post combat
Battle Screech and stuff like that.
and
Yeah,
stuff, yeah.
no, I agree. I agree with that. All right,
I think
Thomas,
this is
do you
a
have any
little,
white cards, or is it back to Hippos?
no white cards.
All right,
How many do you have, Hippo?
I got 2.
Well, leave me that one.
Okay. All right. So my next one is a card called Thistledown Players. For 2 and a white for a 3/3. So this is on rate. We're on rate right now. It says whenever it attacks, untap target non-land permanent. Not a creature, a non-land permanent. So we have things like artifacts with activated abilities in the format and such like that. That is the biggest reason that this interested me.
What artifact were you thinking about untapping with this?
The first one that popped in my head was the card Campfire.
Oh, that's kind of cute. Yeah.
Just getting
That's
to
cool.
double activate Campfire in a turn is pretty sweet. It's gain, nice little gain 4 in a turn cycle. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, nothing else like immediately right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there is something that I am missing. But that is where my head went.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think of stuff with tap abilities off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, like 3 mana 3/3 give another creature vigilance is fine too. Like, that's like, if that's the floor, then like that's a pretty decent floor.
Yeah, because I think that ability that ability already exists. I know that, but the fact that it's not just limited to creatures is the cool part about it.
Yeah, and it being a 3 mana 3/3, I guess like we start thinking about like the mono white shell again, and it's just it's hard with mono white because everything in that deck replaces itself.
Yeah, most everything is a 2-for-1.
Yeah, like you have all like, is there a creature that like doesn't replace itself in that deck? I think Rafine's Informant's the closest.
It still replaces itself.
Yeah, like it doesn't replace itself; it just filters a card.
Yeah, which is perfect.
Yeah, which is fine. Exactly, it's perfectly reasonable, like what you said. But like other than that, like everything else replaces itself, and I think that's the whole point of the deck.
Yeah.
Is to make it resilient.
Yep, that's my. And then you've got the other one that I had.
Yeah, I have. I also had it. It is Warren Elder. It is 1 and a white for a 2/2 creature rabbit cleric. It has an activated ability of 3 and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. And the flavor text is, there is strength in numbers, yes. More importantly, there's joy. That's cute. I think this would be fine in the mono white deck. I don't know if it's hard because it doesn't replace itself again. I think it would be a fine addition because playing against you, Hippo, there's a lot of points where you kind of get stalled out on the board. Like, you'll have, like, quite literally, like, 3 or 4 Thraben Inspectors just sitting on the board. You'll have, like, a 2-2. Like, your deck gets stonewalled pretty easily by a 2-2. Like, because you have, like, the Luminarch veterans that are just 1/1s and stuff like that. And so, not always, but a lot of the time, if you just had a repeated activated ability of 4 mana, give your stuff +1/+1 until end of turn, that'd be good. And just the threat of activations might be good enough. Like, if you swing with just 2 Thraben Inspectors, they don't block their 2/2 because they don't want you to activate it, and then you don't have to activate it. You can do something else.
So I was thinking about a different card earlier when you were talking about the 1/2 flyer. This is the card I was thinking of when I was talking about the Unicorn.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent. I think Unicorn's 1 mana, though, I think.
This card seems fine. Again, we get back to the mono white predicament of, like, all their creatures want to roughly replace themselves, and they kind of have, like, +2/+2 for 3 mana, even though you have to use a card. But I could see a world where, like, you at least get to activate this once in, like, a 3-game match, and it being somewhat relevant. Like, it's fine. Maybe the cleric type comes up with some older cards. Maybe, I don't know.
And when I was playing against Hippo, when he was playing mono white, and I was playing Rakdos Burn, spoiler alert, like, if this ability was just on the board, it would have been so annoying most games. But that could be just, like, that specific matchup. And it's like, and Rakdos Burn isn't even playing, like, a ton of creatures that gum up the board, you know?
Here it is. It's called Steadfast Unicorns, the card I'm talking about. It's 1 mana, 1/2. Pay 3 and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and Vigilance, but you can only activate it during your turn.
Okay, got you. It's 3 and a white, you said?
3 and a white.
And it's a 1 mana, 1/1?
It's 1 mana, 1/2.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's some
Comparison.
people play that as a one of sometimes.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised I haven't seen that more often. Shall we move it to, what's the next color after white? Blue. Shall we move it to
you or
blue?
you?
I have 0 blue cards.
I have
one blue card.
I think I had 1.
Thomas, you start us off, buddy.
Cool. The one card I have is Bellowing Crier. This is 1 and a blue for a 2/1 Frog Advisor. When Bellowing Crier enters, draw a card, then discard a card. Basically, my thought process is this is kind of just Rafine's Informant in blue, and I'm sure there are other instances of this, and of course we also have things like Augur Bolas in the format. But if there's a blue deck that wants to, somewhere in the fairies to terror range, that wants to just, like, have a creature that puts something in the bin, filters your draw, is just a body on the ground, like, it's fine. Like, if there's a deck that wants a blue card that fills the Rafine's Informant role, and they're not looking for Augur Bolas, then, like, this can do the job. This will get a card in the bin at the very least. Like, it's certainly not on rate with all the rest of the stuff that blue is actually doing, like, really successfully in the format, into, like, just, like, cantripping and counter spells and stuff like that. But it was the one card in blue that kind of stood out to me as, like, maybe this could get a home somewhere.
Dude, and I'm probably gonna say this a lot this episode. I love the art on this card too. I just
the art in this set is gorgeous.
It is. I just love, like, fairy tale whimsical stuff. It's, like, reminds me of, like, the first Throne of Eldraine set, but even, like, more so just because it's, like, the toot animals and all that stuff. And it's, like, I really liked the Tale of Despero book growing up as a kid, and, like, people talk about the Redwall series. Yep. And it's just, like, it just all reminds me of that. I'm just like, I love this.
I used to read a bunch of the Redwall books out loud to my younger siblings. I'd do all the voices. It was, oh man, it was so good. Every type of animal had, like, a different style of voice, just like they did it on, like, the animated series. Like, I did all of it. It was so much fun. This is really bringing me back to that.
Isn't this? I want to make a Bloomburrow Throne of Eldraine cube. Just, like, have, like, this fairy tale aesthetic, kind of similar to, like, May's Fairy Cube or May's Fae Cube. Like, you hear, like, the co-host of the Uber Bear podcast. Mm-hmm. Okay, random plug.
But yeah, that was my blue card.
All right,
James, do you have a blue card?
I have a blue card. Just kind of a mention here, because it works fairly well with another card that already exists. Is a card called Dazzling Denial. It's 1 in a blue for an instant. It's a counter target spell, and the controller pays 2. But if you control bird, they pay 4 instead. Thomas is very familiar with a card called Lofty Denial. This is just Lofty Denial, basically.
But what Do you any specific birds?
I don't have any specific birds right off the top of my head,
But just
other than like Glinthawk, obviously the first one that comes up. Cacaw, yeah.
Core skyfisher. Is that a bird?
It's not a bird.
Huh.
I don't think so. Actually,
that's a core.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the person on the bird.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think it's a bird.
Thanks, Magic.
I don't even think there's a bird. It's like a sail thing.
Correct.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think my brain just like shortcuts it to be a bird. That's funny.
Flying must be bird.
You must be bird.
But you can say this is already something that exists. And if you have and if there's enough birds that like already just inherently exist that could possibly be played, having 2 sets of a less color restrictive counterspell is cool.
It's a little hummingbird in the art. Just like something to look out, like if there's ever more birds.
Yeah, something to keep in mind.
I guess I wanted to shout out real quick too. Not really necessarily a card that I want to talk too much about, but it was Thought Shucker. It was 1 and a blue for a 1/3 rat rogue. Has threshold. You can pay 1 and a blue, put a +1/+1 counter on this card, and draw a card. Activate only if there's 7 more cards in your graveyard, and only once.
Yeah, the fact that it's only the only once part is kind of sad.
Even if it was once per turn, this card would be kind of sick.
Yeah, this would be very good.
This would be an awesome common.
I think we would be dipping into the better than common territory.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're definitely right.
I was like, because that would just go into Larian Tedder. You would just draw a card for 2 mana every turn.
That'd be really busted.
That'd be very
too
good.
busted. Okay. Any other blue cards?
That's it.
That's it for me.
Moving on to black. Hippo starts off.
All right. In black, I have Dire Sight. Dire Sight is 2 and a black for a sorcery. It is Surveil 2. You draw 2 cards, and then you lose 2 life. Or this is akin to the card Read the Bones that we are all familiar with. But the fact that it is Surveil 2 is the interesting part here. For whatever graveyard shenanigans you may encounter in your travels.
Yeah, Surveil 2 is probably better than Scry 2 in black for sure.
I believe it is,
Yeah, I agree. It's just, if there's ever a deck that needs a Read the Bones effect, again, this would be probably fit into that. It's just, I don't know, has that ever been playable in Pauper, like back in the day?
I think it's playable in something like our buddy Jay's deck, like his mono black deck that he plays. Mm-hmm. Especially because it's a really good Witch's Cottage deck, so you can put creatures in the graveyard now and then get them back later. So it's nice little value there.
For sure. Thomas, do you have a black card you would like to share with the class?
I do. I have 1 black card to share. This is Savor. It is 1 and a black for an instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Create a food token. Now on rate in the format, again, not like the best in the world, but it is, going back to our whenever we randomly mention rectangle theory, like it's a small removal spell that puts some piece of material on the board. So whether you care about just having a number of artifacts around, or you specifically care about gaining life or food in general, I just thought this was interesting.
No, I like this for gaining life. Like, this is pretty good. Like, I don't know, maybe Gardens already has like a really good mono white matchup, but mono red might be a little, that could be a little bit more sketchy because mono red's more explosive than mono white. So like, maybe if you just need the extra cushion against mono red, have a 2 mana removal spell, then next turn, on turn 3, maybe you defile something and crack your food. So like, I like this.
Yeah.
If it ever needs like
that.
the extra life gain there. I guess as I was scrolling through Scryfall, I just came across the card Ravine Raider, if we're ready to move on from Savor.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
So Ravine Raider, it was just a singular black mana for a creature lizard rogue 1/1 menace. You could pay a 1 and a black and it gets +1/+1 till end of turn, just in case like black ever, they're starting to print more aggressive black creatures. So like, who knows, like maybe in 3 or 4 years we have a black weenie deck at some point in time, you know, if we keep getting these little dinky guys and if they get efficient enough, because like,
well, there's already some that exist out there too.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
Like maybe if we ever get that, what's like maybe Gifted Aetherborn gets downshifted and Vampire Nighthawk, and you just have like this curve out black deck wins deck, kind of like similar to like Red Sly or something. Or is that what Red Sly means? Like a curve out red deck?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's not what that means.
My bad. I'll shut up. That's what I'm saying. I don't think this card's necessarily like, holy crap, this is playable in Pauper or anything, but just a little cute guy.
You make a good point it's something to look out for because it's definitely a trend.
And I think a lot of this set is, It's something to look out for because there's a lot of stuff that mentions all of these creature types like lizards, rats, birds, otters, and stuff. So maybe when we return to Bloomburrow, we get like an otter. We get like an otter lord, and suddenly all these otters are playable in common. Should our red mage lead us into the fire?
Let's do it. I have 2 red cards. One that I think is like actually kind of cool in a couple of contexts, and another that I think is cool but probably not strong enough. I'll start with the cool one that I think is actually good in some contexts. This is Sazakap's Brew. This is 1 and a red for an instant. Gift a tapped fish. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast this spell. If you do, they create a tapped 1/1 blue fish creature token before its other effects. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. Target player draws 2 cards. If the gift was promised, i.e. if you gave them a tapped fish, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So this is this set's version of the red 2-mana discard draw 2, which seems to be something that we're getting pretty much every set nowadays
It's
in
like
red.
A bunch of those for red and a bunch of the Deadly Dispute effects for black. They just can't get enough.
Yeah. They can't stop. They can't help themselves. But I like this one for a couple of reasons. I think it's cool. Like, it's an instant, which is helpful. So in comparing to something like I'm thinking about in, say, the Madness deck in particular, where you have outs with highway robbery and demand answers to sack lands or artifacts respectively if you really need to, but most of the time you're going to be discarding a card, ideally a card with Madness. So this kind of slots in. It can maybe cover some ground there. And if you give them the tapped fish, you also get to just like give your kitchen imp or your sneaky snacker a little extra power boost and like continue to keep up the burn and combat clock. Because a lot of the times, especially when I play like my version of the red burn decks, if you're using effects like these and you don't have something like a pinger out or a way to, they take damage if you cast a spell, then you're just kind of using your mana to go up on resources but not get them dead faster. And this kind of splits the difference here, where if you want to give them a tapped 1/1 that ideally your deck doesn't care about, especially Madness, like Madness doesn't care about giving you a 1/1. They're going to fly over your ground creatures anyway, and you just get to add a little buff on your creature and just plunk in for another couple of 2 points of damage. I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's similar to cards we've seen in this vein, like discard a card, draw 2 cards. And it can just be that if you want to. You don't have to give them a fish. You can just instant speed, discard a card, draw 2, which is totally fine, especially in the Madness deck. But even in something like my burn deck, like I can give, I don't know, a Voldaren Epicure +2 and actually like get in or maybe, push through some damage and stuff like that. I think this is cool. I don't know if it breaks through, but this is the card out of all the cards in the set that I intrigued me the most. I think there's a lot of different, a lot of play with this one.
Yeah,
I'll cede the floor.
I saw this card and I initially dismissed it because it didn't have like the sacrifice an artifact or sacrifice a land clause. Because there was a lot of times playing the Madness deck where it's just like, okay, I kind of ran out of burn, now I'm top decking, and it's like I'll top deck a singular one of these, and it's like if I don't have another card to discard, it's not. That could be pretty bad. Like I there's a lot of points in time where I like use the out of sacrificing a land or an artifact. Or an artifact land most of the time. That's where I'm getting out that. But I like what you said. This is like, it continues on your plan of attacking. So it's like you can do this and get in some damage. And who knows, maybe you discard why can't I think of what the red one's called? I've casted it so many times. The red bolt madness
Fiery
card.
Temper.
Fiery Temper?
Fiery Temper. Thank you. Like, somebody help me. Thank you. Maybe you discard a Fiery Temper with this, and you give something +2/+0, and you get in there for 7 damage, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I will speak to is like a lot of the times when I would be sideboarding with Rakdos, a lot of the times Voldaren Epicure is the first thing to go. Then after Voldaren Epicure, I start looking at the sneaky snackers, just because sometimes people bring in graveyard hate against me, and if they do, I want to make my deck. I want to make the graveyard hate as much of a dead draw as possible. So like siding out some number of sneaky snackers is not bad, or if they just, especially if there's a lot of like core Skyfishers going around, I'll side out the imps too. But I guess this what's it trade with a core Skyfisher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
+2. Yeah.
Yeah. And the art's dope, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my thoughts on it. I could see it being played in that slot, but it's just like the plot from Highway Robbery, and
that comes up.
It ended up mattering like a weird amount. Like, okay, I don't have a Madness card to discard here, so I'm just gonna plot it this turn, and if I don't draw one next turn, then I can just cast it for free and just pitch an extra land or something, like that. That was a pattern that I ended up doing a lot. Hippo, you got any red cards?
I do. It's akin to one that again kind of already exists, but the card is called War Squeak.
Squeak.
What a nice name.
Mm-hmm.
So single red for an aura. And this is enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls cannot block this turn, and the equipped creature gets, the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and haste. So this is akin to the card called Hammerhand, back from I think
it's Hammerhand.
It's just Hammerhand. But it gets
cuter.
from M15 I think.
Way cuter. It's been printed a few times.
But yeah, this is another another variation on that card. That card's already a card that exists and is fine in shells like the Hot Dogs deck, or there's I guess it's the same deck, but the Mono Red Heroic deck. So yeah, this is a sweet little card.
Yeah, I could see this seeing play in something like that. Like I was thinking of Kiln Fiend when I saw this card.
It doesn't trigger Kiln Fiend, but yes.
Yeah, it doesn't trigger it, but it
making it something we can't block. I think as I said, I think the more leaning toward the mono white the mono red heroic deck that has Satyr Hoplite and stuff like that. That's a little more what you're looking for.
That's kind of what the Hot Dogs deck we've been seeing has been doing.
They've started to move where they kind of merge the two together, which is cool.
So, yeah, I like that. I like that card. I have a Frilled Spark Shooter on my list. It is a 3 in a red for a 3/3. Wait, sorry, what were we saying?
No, sorry, I thought you were talking about a different card. You're good.
Oh,
Continue.
I'm sorry.
This is not the one I have.
Frilled Spark Shooter, 3 in a red for 3/3 creature lizard archer. It has menace and reach. It enters the battlefield with a It enters with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn. So it's just a 4-mana 4/4 with menace and reach is the goal. It just reminded me of what's that called card? The 2/5 with reach. Writhing Chrysalis. It
2/5 with reach?
2/3 of reach. There we go.
I was like, it got bigger.
I was just very quick to dismiss a 4-mana card with reach before, so I'm just not doing it again. I'm calling my shot just in case. But I don't. It's just the red. That's not the red deck we play. If there was something more akin to what we were talking about earlier, or that was a mono black, but if there was more of a red deck win style deck, not just red deck plays only 1-drops, but if there is such thing as a red deck that wanted to curve out 1, 2, 3, 4, this isn't a terrible 4-drop to play. A 4-mana 4/4 with menace, it can start clocking you pretty quickly. And who knows, maybe with enough lizard support. But I don't, as it sits now, I don't really see this seeing play, just something I wanted to put in the light if ever it such exists.
Cover
my bases.
Your butt in case.
I'm going to cover my bases with these 4-mana cards with reach.
Yeah, can't have Blake Cameron calling you out again.
Yeah. Thomas, do you got another red card for us?
I do. This is Kindle Spark Duo. This is 2 in a red for a 1/3 Lizard Otter. It has tap. Kindle Spark Duo deals 1 damage to target opponent. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, untap Kindle Spark Duo. So this is right in the sweet spot between Thermo Alchemist, which is the 2-mana 0/3 that pings your opponent. You tap to ping your opponent, and it untaps when you cast an instant or sorcery. And then Kazakh Flamebreather, which is the 2-mana 1/3 that pings your opponent every time you cast a non-creature spell. So this is right in between. It does the tap to ping, but it also untaps on non-creature spells, not just instant sorcery. So you can trigger this with enchantments and artifacts and all of that good jazz. Similar to how I've been playing my burn deck with Kazakh Flamebreather. Like, you could slot this right in as additional copies of pingers. The only issue I see here is that a 3 mana 1/3 doing this is a big setback in comparison to Thermal Alchemist and Keswick Flame Breather. Like, it's cool that this is unique in that effect, that it's untapping on non-creature spells, so it is splitting the difference, but I think 3 mana makes it a little too expensive to slot into what the decks are trying to do. Maybe because it triggers off of non-creature spells, maybe you can put this in like a Simian Spirit Guide Lotus Petal deck and like try and ramp it out a little earlier and like just play it, it'll trigger off of Lotus Petals, it'll trigger off of all sorts of stuff. So you could potentially try something like that if you really wanted to, but investing 3 mana in a 1/3 when investing 2 mana in a 1/3 or 0/3 is already kind of risky is a little iffy to me. And also, one other thing is that the tap ability does say target opponent, where some of the other ones say each in some instances. So if your opponent is able to have like, Circle Protection Red, or gets a Prismatic Strands off, like, or gives themselves hexproof for any reason, like this, that will stop this, as opposed to the pingers that say each opponent. But I really like this card. I would love for it to be good. I just don't know if 3 mana for this is gonna cut it when 2 mana is already a little iffy.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is the difference between 2 and 3, and specifically the red decks is pretty massive.
Strands in Cop Red would still stop each, right? Even if it says each opponent takes 1 damage.
He's talking about specifically on hexproof stuff.
Got you.
You're right. No. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It would. But yeah.
Yeah, just what you said. It's just like 3 is so hard, because I feel like the decks that do play like the Firebrand Archer style effects, they play it because they want to get it out on turn 2, and maybe they want to play a second one on turn 3 and then like start bolting you and like dealing you 2 damage a piece off them, So it is just hard when like you want to put those effects out as quick as possible. So 3 mana is hard for that.
Yeah.
Cool art. I have a red card. Are you ready?
Let's go.
I think we have more cards than we thought we did.
Yeah, look at us. We're going. I have Might of the Meek. It is 1 red. I always do this. It's a singular red mana for an instant. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. It also gets +1/+0 until end of turn if you control a mouse. So maybe that's some throwaway text. But it also says draw a card. So something like this in Hot Dogs I think would be good, because it can trigger the heroic creatures, and it can also give your Kiln Fiend trample, and it's an instant. So I think this is Crash Through a sorcery?
It is.
So this is just better Crash Through. But Crash Through gives all, right? Crash Through creatures, it gives all creatures trample.
Yeah, because it doesn't target anything.
But maybe this targeting is better in like the heroic
specifically
deck.
For the combination of the two, I think, is where we're at now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this would be pretty good.
And to be fair, it's like most of the time, like if you're going to try to win with your Kiln Fiend, you only need it to target 1 creature anyway,
Yeah.
So it's,
Sick.
Yeah. Not much to say. I think it just fits directly into the mono red heroic stuff.
Nice.
Any thoughts, reserves, prayers, answers?
Gave my thoughts.
Cool. Sick. You heard it from Hippo first. Sick.
No, I just said gave my thoughts already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the only trample trick for 1 mana that exists in red at common that cantrips
Crash
at instant speed.
There we go. Okay. I'm like,
at instant speed.
There we go.
Well,
any other red cards?
It's Crash Through. I don't consider Crash Through a combat trick. I mean, a combat one that targets your creature, like you were saying, to get the heroic trigger.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Works with prowess creatures, not heroic creatures. Crash Through.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on
to green.
Y'all have any more red? I have one green card.
I have a couple green cards.
I have a singular green card. Hippo.
Why don't you go ahead, James?
Start us off.
All right.
Broccoli.
My first green card is Longstock Brawl. So Longstock Brawl is a single green, and it is gift tapped fish. We've already explained what gifting does. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. Put a +1/+1 counter on the creature you control if the gift was promised. Then those creatures fight each other. So this is essentially if you a card for the Stompy deck. It's really all this is. gifting a fish not going to be too big a deal when all your creatures are just bigger than a fish. But it's a single mana, so it works out nicely for curve considerations.
I considered putting this card on my list. I ended up not doing it just because we have the card Ram Through, because I was thinking mono green Stompy as well. We just have the card Ram Through.
I agree.
Which just does like the trample over. I do like this as 1 mana less and can put a counter on your dude if you do so please. So I don't know if it crosses the Ram Through bar, but it is a consideration.
I think Ram Through is overall a better card because it does put the extra text on that thing.
The trample over.
The trample over whatever damage is not.
Yeah.
Or is already too much to kill it. Yeah.
Your fight self trample is pretty dope. I agree.
But again, the fact that this is a single mana is kind of nice. But I could obviously see a world where this doesn't work too.
Thomas, what is your green card?
I have Cash Grab. This is 1 and a green for an instant. Mill 4 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you control a squirrel or returned a squirrel card to your hand this way, create a food token. I don't think this is super gonna see anything, but the Mill 4, the 2 mana green spell Mill 4, pick a permanent card from among them, is very similar to Malevolent Rumble, which has been showing up a lot, but Malevolent Rumble does make the spawn, so it does kind of ramp you, so it's definitely better in that regard, though this is an instant, and if you happen to have a couple squirrels in your deck, for instance, you can make a food token, which, maybe it'll come up.
I have a way for this to work.
What are you working on?
What's your squirrel?
All right, so it was brought to my attention earlier, literally on my way to come record this podcast, that this is a card for the Dredge deck, because the Dredge deck already plays the squirrel card.
What's squirrel?
It plays the 4 mana card that flashes back.
That's not a squirrel though.
It makes squirrels.
Oh, if you control a squirrel. Gotcha.
It does make squirrels, yeah.
Do you think the food though is more important than the scion?
I would play this over that for the possibility of gaining 3 life over it, I think.
Got you. Okay. And it's an instant. Malevolent Rumble's a sorcery.
Yeah.
Too, so there's that. Okay, cool. Look at that.
But it mills 4 cards. So it already does like the Dredge thing, which is like milling over cards. Because you're already playing like State Wayfinder and such. So this just also is another thing. Yes, this is not a creature. So that is a little strike against it, but it does fit the bill on things that you're looking to do in that vein.
Who wants to hear my green card?
I would love nothing more than to hear your green card.
It's called Heaped Harvest. It is 2 and a green for an artifact food. Whenever it enters and whenever you sacrifice it, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And you can pay 2, it has the food text, 2 tap, sacrifice it, you gain 3 life. So it is whenever you sacrifice it. So this kind of just reminds me of like Explosive Vegetation over 2 turns. So like you can play this, immediately go get a basic, put onto the battlefield tapped. I can maybe see something like Gardens playing something like this. 3 is kind of a hefty upfront cost, and Gardens doesn't really need the ramp. If there's a deck that needs the ramp, it is cool that you can sack it to stuff like Deadly Dispute and whatever, or Demand Answers or whatever. Maybe Ponza plays this in Demand Answers in the ramp version, and like you build your own Explosive Vegetation at home. Like, because you could sacrifice this Demand Answers and you go with the basic right away before you draw your 2 cards. So I don't know. Thoughts?
I think it's bad.
Okay. I think it's too slow.
I do like that you can get a. I do think yes. I think it's too slow. I do like that you can get a land out of sacrificing it for ways other than the food text. That is cool to me.
Yes,
that does get the gears spinning. But I think it's a little. It's not enough on the front end for that investment.
For 3 mana, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, based on the green decks that currently exist, it would be tough to fit this in somewhere.
Well, there's my shot, just in case we didn't miss the card that breaks open Pauper. We just have to talk about every single common, and we can never miss anything.
All right, I've got one more, and that's it for my green. All right, I've got Tree Guard Duo. So for 3 and a green for a 3/4, when it enters the battlefield, until end of turn, target creature you control gains a vigilance and gets +X, where X is the number of creatures you control.
I wish it gave a trample so bad.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be super picky. It does give a good ability. It's a good card.
Yeah, do you think it fits? I just don't know where it would see play at.
I do. Yeah, I'm trying to envision a shell where it works. If I wish it was obviously, I wish it were 1 minute cheaper. I think the Stompy deck.
Hey, we can't be too picky.
I agree. As I said, I wish. There's that keyword there, wish. It's the wish version of something. I don't know, but yeah, the fact that it's 4 mana is slightly less than appealing. But this is also something that makes something like we'll say the Ponza deck for instance. Like if you have a bunch of like random like what are the tokens? The Scion tokens, just like laying around from like all your Chrysalises and your Malevolent Rumbles and your Repurposers, and you're just like needed to break through on a board state. Like something like this, like targeting an Altasaur is huge game.
That is true. Hitting an Altasaur is pretty good.
Huge game.
Cascading into this off an Altasaur though, bad game.
Well, it depends on what the board state looks like. But
Yeah.
yes, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is something that helps kind of break up stuff. Especially giving like an Altasaur Vigilance, that would be pretty sick.
And like, yeah, and it's like the deck cut the some versions are cutting the land destruction spells just because of like they don't want like any awkward cascade hits, and like that's the most awkward cascade hit if you hit it late in the game and just the land destruction is no longer relevant, and this just gives it another awkward hit. Like if you cast this onto an empty board or cascade into it on an empty board or
Yeah, I think that's just part of doing business in the Cascade deck, though. Like you're like like you have Utopia Sprawls and Arbor Elf still in your deck. So what's
That's true.
This is better than that, I think. So, but this is a card that I was like, this is like punches through a bunch of stuff if you have like already have a creature with trample, like Altasaur.
Any other green cards, or shall we move it to the singular artifact that we have on our list?
I have a multicolored card.
Singular artifact. I already said an artifact.
My bad. You do have a multicolored card. Hippo, do you have any multicolored cards?
Other than the one probably Gun has.
All right, Thomas, read me it.
The only multicolored card, so there's a cycle of hybrid mana commons for each of the creature types. This is the Simic one, the Frog one. It's 2 Simic hybrid mana, so green, blue. For a 1/1, it says it's Pawn Profit. When it enters, draw a card. That's it. Plain and simple.
Itself.
We've
like
there's a bunch of these around. Elvish Visionary, Spirited Companion. This is just another option for you. That's
maybe
it.
it sees play in a green deck or a blue deck. I don't think it would see play in a blue-green deck, funny enough, just because like if there is ever a blue-green deck that wants this effect, I think Coiling Oracle is just better there, even if it is harder to cast.
Yeah, depending on what they want to do. Unless you're trying to like do an infinite loop or you're trying to like draw your whole deck or something.
Coiling Oracle does that too.
Kind of.
It draws a card.
I guess Coiling Oracle does it where it's not technically drawing a card.
Yeah. But if there's ever like a mono blue blink deck where you want to pick something up with your Ninja of Deep Hours or something, this is a good pickup for that. It's just getting it through is kind of hard. It's there. I agree. Like I saw this card and I'm like,
special.
That seems fine. It's like I don't know what to do with it. I think Spirited Companion sees some play because it's like cards like Core Skyfisher and Ephemerate are popular white cards.
Yeah.
So this could be Hada. Shall I read the artifact that caught my interest?
I'd love nothing more.
Is it the 1 mana one?
It is the 1 mana one.
Yep, that's the last one on my list.
Me too. It is Fountain Port Bell for a singular mana. I almost said colorless. For a singular mana, you get an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, shuffle, and put that card on top. You can pay 1, sacrifice this card, draw a card. There you go. So for 2 mana, you can search your library for a land and put it into your hand. Or you could also fail to find the land and just sacrifice this to draw a card late in the game if you don't want to draw a land.
That is correct.
Or with the trigger on the stack, you could sacrifice it and draw a card and set up a land for next turn for whatever reason.
You certainly could do that.
Mm-hmm.
That is an option that you have available to you.
I don't know who wants this, but it's here. Maybe Gardens to smooth out its land drops, because sometimes you lose games of Gardens where
At that rate, I think you would just play. I think you're just leaning into troll. Like you just lean into troll.
Yeah, that's true. At that point, it is hard with the cyclers already existing.
Yeah,
you know.
I can't imagine a world where I play this.
But this being an artifact, you never know. It's a 1-mana artifact that draws a card.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can't be that bad.
It potentially fixes you. Cool.
And I think that concludes our Bloomburrow common cards that we found interesting.
Alrighty. Yeah. Shall we move it to real quick? Hippo and I played in a in-person Pauper event real quick.
Let's go.
All right. So as said, Hippo and I played some Pauper at Game Night, a store in Columbia, which I should probably put this at the beginning of the episode, but oh well. They are hosting a Team Trios event on August 3rd. So that's coming up very shortly. Next weekend. So if you have... Maybe Thomas can edit this and put it at the front. I don't know. That's a lot of work. You choose. If you have interest in that and live in the Middle Tennessee area or in drivable distance, a Game Night Columbia, a Magic the Gathering store and hobby store. Owner's super cool. It's going to be Team Trios, Legacy, Pauper, and Modern. I know Hippo and I are going. We're both playing the Pauper seat. It's going to be super, 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 super fun. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to play as a team. It's been a long time since I got to play an actual team event.
I have never done this before.
They're super fun.
Cool. I'm excited. That's weird. I just thought about that. I'm like, I've never played a team event because like I didn't play like competitive Magic until I moved to Tennessee 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few like SEGs and stuff like that, and they're fun.
Why am I better than everybody already? It's weird.
In what capacity?
I'm just being awful.
I was going to say, I can't wait to read my tournament report where I crushed you.
Okay. Yeah, Hippo is going to fly a little bit too close to the sun.
Cameron. It's just because I left for the summer.
Yeah. Someone's going to put Hippo back to his level after this weekend.
Oh, I mean, my round 1 opponent did that.
Oh, there we go.
No,
Thank God.
I'm in for this Hippo domination arc.
Yeah, you don't have to hear it. I'm kidding.
I did say something pretty funny that Cameron just like lost his mind over.
Yeah, you told me you were playing the superior deck, and I'm just like, shut up.
It was funny.
It was pretty funny. I'm gonna start my turn report first. If that's cool with y'all.
Go for it.
Round 1, I played against our. Oh my gosh! Also, I think there was like 2 or 3 local Game Night people that showed up for their event, which was weird because last time Carson and I went, there were like 8 people from like that town that were there, but this time there was only like 2 or 3. But we brought like 7 Nashville people.
Yeah, it was just our friend group.
Yeah, so thank God we did. So round 1, I played against our buddy Centillus. He was playing Ponza. I lost to him 1-2. Game 1, I mulled to 3, and I sat there like
Why?
I think my 7 had 1 land, couldn't keep that. I think my 6 had 1 land. My 5 had no lands. My 4th had no lands, and so I just mulled to 3. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I should just go to game 2. Because I was mad, dude. I saw like 4 lands maybe.
And this madness deck seems impressive.
Yeah, no, that was just some wild odds. Yeah, it was very maddening. It was whatever. Like I was kind of just like flabbergasted. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening right now. It's bound to happen. You play enough games of Magic, that's gonna happen to you. You know. Game 2, sideboard game. He did not know what I was playing, so he didn't sideboard. I knew he was playing Ponza because he's a Ponza guy. And so I sided my Contaminated Grounds. I got a Contaminated Ground, a forest with a Utopia Sprawl on it, and kind of got a Stone Rain him. And I think he tapped it once or twice too because he just needed to play something. I don't know if he played a Writhing Chrysalis, but I ended up winning that game. Then game 3, he had a Weather of a Storm on my turn 2 or 3 that just gained him 9 life, which ended up mattering because I think we got to a point where life totals were low. Like he swung with a couple things. I had to block he swung with 2 Writhing Chrysalises. I had to block one of them, otherwise he could have sacrificed his spawns and just killed me there. If I didn't have the block, I would have had lethal on the crackback kind of thing. So it was just a very, very close game 3. So he got there on that one, which kind of sucks. We had like 2 really good games and then just a game 1 where I mulled the 3 and I'm just like, ow, whatever. So that happens. Round 2, I played against a player playing Coggates. Game 1, they never saw a Sacred Cat, and so they just didn't have like that life gain pad, and I just kind of burned them out really quickly. Game 2, they ended up dusting me. I think they got rid of like double red, which made my hand a little bit awkward. It was still close, and then they eventually drew into Cat and Basilisk Gate, and like they started like picking their life back up. They went from like 5 to 10 to 15. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is enough. I'm like, this isn't gonna go well for me. Game 3, they didn't see a Sacred Cat again, and this time I contaminated grounds their Basilisk Gates. They had 2 Basilisk Gates. I contaminated grounded one of them because I had 2 contaminated grounds in my hands, and I ended up contaminating ground their first land they played for turn, which I thought was good. And then I think they played Plains and Dawnbringer Cleric to my contaminating ground. I'm like, oh well. But then they played a Basilisk Gate, and I'm like, cool, that's another juicy target. I'll hit that. So I got there 2-1. Round 3, I played against this. He was kind of newer, but he was just playing the mono white deck, and even though they made poor game, I'm kidding, it's Hippo. Hippo crushed me 0-2. It wasn't particularly close. Game 1 was like...
Game 1 was closer.
Game 1 was closer. Game 2 was just not particularly close. Like he just
I ended the game with over 30 life.
Yeah, like you just went very wide, and I have no board wipe in my 75, which might be something I need to put in my 75. And it was just not particularly close. Maybe just mono white's a bad matchup, and it's okay to have bad matchups. Then round 4, I got the pair up to Matt Carthel, one of our buddies. Maybe I shouldn't say people's last names. Hey, why are you biting me? So I got the pair up to one of our buddies. They were, what's my record at this point? I am 1-2. They are 2-1. So I just conceded to them. We played it out. They were playing the black-white deck, so we played it for fun. And I like playing against the decks that are playing Refurbished Familiar. Sorry, my cat just like bit my thigh. I like playing against the decks that are playing against Refurbished Familiar, so it was a shame I didn't play against more Refurbished Familiars that day. But so ended the day. I'll say I ended the day 2-2 for my pride. But
for your pride.
It was still fun. Still playing Pauper. Just kind of felt weird. Like none of just mulling to 3 obviously didn't felt too good, and been playing against Hippo. It's like I just like game 2 wasn't like particularly close, so it was like that wasn't like super fun by any means or whatever. So and then just my round 4 being like, well, I probably should just concede here because I don't think a 2-2 is gonna get any of the prizes, so I'm just gonna concede to my buddy kind of thing. So it's just like, whatever. It was just one of those days. Hippo, how was your tournament?
So it seems like I had the opposite record that you did.
2-2.
No,
if you reverse 2-2, it's
you went 1-3.
Oh, you're right.
I went 3-1 across the day, for a nice little top 4 finish. Round 1, I played against our friend Anna. She was playing that like Mardu initiative pile, like
cleansing wildfire.
Yeah, the like cleansing wildfire deck. The match was super close. I think I got game 1. She got games 2 and 3, I believe. Game 2, I think I was able to sneak around with a prismatic strands to like kind of keep the monarch the initiative, which was super sweet. And then the games that she killed me, game 1 she killed me with just like double gal blast.
She did get game 1 because I remembered I mulled the 3. So when I finally mulled the 3, I was seeing how everybody else's games were ending while I was still mulliganing.
Yeah, so she hit me with like a double gal blast to kill me because her deck's full of the same, similar cards. She's still got like Core Skyfisher and stuff like that. So there's a lot of similar action happening on both sides of the battlefield. Game 2, I think I just got to keep the monarch or the initiative for like an extra turn or 2, and then game 3 we both mulliganed to 5. And this is really kind of where it went wrong for me. my hand was like, I don't know, 2 lands, like a couple, I want to say like a couple inspectors and like a couple other cards. I don't remember exactly what they were. But the way the game played out is that she actually kept a double Cleansing Wildfire hand, which was super good for her. So she's able to smooth out her draws for lands, and she's able to keep up on cards. So she's able to just like get super ahead of me, and I just kind of like petered out pretty quickly. I tried to take I had a pretty aggressive start. Like the way that my hand played out was like pretty aggressive. It just didn't line up super well against what she had, because she's able to like kind of 1-for-1 my threats, have her own threats, and then be able to like Ardent Elementalist and like do her own, her own thing where she like can ephemerate and all that good junk. So yeah, she just like outvalued me in game 3. So she got game 3 and took the match. But the games were still cool and the games were still fun. Round 2, I played against our buddy Carson, who was on Ponza. I ended up getting it in 2 games. I will leave my fun bit of information out for all the Ponza players out there until round 4. But round 3, I played against Cameron, and as we already mentioned, I 2-0'd you, and it didn't. Game one was a little closer. Game 2 was not particularly close. Like I say, I ended the game at over 30 life. I don't think I have anything particularly profound to say about that. I think I drew a Lunarch veteran every game. That mattered a lot, so that was pretty good. Also, I did not play Lone Missionary, for what that's worth. I didn't play Lone Missionary in the sideboard. I played Erishan Cleric. It blocks a little bit better into the like more aggressive decks of the format. So things like the Kadoltha deck, that's mainly why I played it, because I assumed that there would be some amount of Kadoltha-ing that occurred, and there was. But I didn't play against them. But Erishan Cleric, totally fine card if you don't want to play a Lone Missionary. And then round 4, I played against our buddy Centillus, also in Ponza, you mentioned. This was probably the closest match that I played all day.
And at this point, you are 2-1 and they're 3-0.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
So we're basically just he's already like guaranteed locked for first. So I'm just playing to like lock a top 4 spot. So we play, like our games are good. This is a matchup that I have over the 2 matches that I played. I learned that if you, as the Ponza player, have the ability to take out Avenging Hunter from your deck, you should probably do so, because it lost every single game that it hit the battlefield.
Against
mono white specifically, like it
not in general.
Like it literally lost every single game it hit the battlefield for my Ponza opponents.
Yeah.
Like
I think
because I just take it with any of my creatures, take it, and I'm able to protect it numerous ways by having just a ton of creatures in play, or because I'll have prismatic strands on my deck, so you can't like just take it with me from most of your creatures in your deck.
That was the big blowout when I was watching you 2 play, that they attacked and you just like blocked the 6/3 haste, and then they were attacking with the Annoyed Altasaur, and you just prismatic strands that one.
Yeah.
You kept it again. It's like they have the ability to take it back, but it's like if you're fighting against mono white for the initiative, they're probably going to end up doing more damage along the way, since you are an aggressive deck. Yep. And that just doesn't end well for you.
Yeah, like the fact that I'm able to like then buff up my creatures, like once I've gained the Monarch, like, or the initiative, like putting it, like making my core Skyfishers into 4/5s is huge game. Maybe
if you're Gardens, I don't know how it plays out on the Garden side, but
I imagine it's way easier to keep it than
yeah, because like say like if you're playing Gardens, you're killing their flyers, and maybe their Swing of Tooth Raven Specters, you're blocking one and then you're killing the other. Maybe that's better.
Yeah, I think, but specifically from the Ponza deck, because the Ponza deck doesn't play
interacting.
It plays no removal spells.
Yeah, you're not interacting. It plays all. Post board or pre board at least.
Pre board, it plays 0 ways to interact with the board. So yeah, I cannot fathom a world where that card is supposed to stay in your deck. Again, it didn't occur to me until the way the match is played out. Like that's not something you would think. You're like, oh, this is just a good card. Like in every matchup, like I want this card. Like yes, that card is powerful. That card definitely lost 4 games because
it didn't occur to you until the 4th game they played it and lost.
Yeah, I was like, man, this has been that bad every single time. Again, it's nothing wrong. Again, it's just something you just have to play and experience. Like that was just a decision that has to be made. And another thing is, if you're not playing like these, I think you should be playing the land destruction spell. Like back up. If you are playing the land destruction spells, I know that both my opponents boarded out some number of them. Whereas I think they should keep them in versus me, because I know Cameron and I played some games before the event, and if you're just able to turn 2 Thermokarst to planes, then I'm like, oh, well, I'm kind of...
You're not curving out.
I'm not curving
you're
out.
A low land count deck, and it's like, even if you're flooding out with mono white, you're probably not winning anyway. And if I'm stopping you from playing your 3-drop on turn 3 or your 2-drop on turn 2, awesome.
Yeah. A couple pieces of advice also on the matchup, because it came up a couple different, or it potentially could have come up a couple different times, is that I played on the draw. If I had like an Eagles of the North hand, and I had like multiple 1-drops, like I wasn't playing a 1-drop on turn 1 because I was holding up the ability to cycle, so that if I get pawns it on my turn 1, I have at least a land to follow up with.
That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
So that line of play came up. Also, if you have the ability to kill an Arbor Elf on the first chance you get to, do such a thing, because I literally stonewalled one of them. They didn't cast spells for like 4 turns because I just killed an Arbor Elf.
That's just back to basics.
That's
just the basics.
Yeah, just bolt the bird. I'm just like,
just in case they're
I
greedy.
like fired off like a Thraben Charm on turn 2. With just like Thraben Inspector in play to kill an Arbor Elf, or Journey to Nowhereing an Arbor Elf. It's huge. Yeah.
So you ended up 3-1.
Ended up 3-1 at the end of the night.
And so there were 4 3-1s, and prizing went to top 4 after the end of Swiss. So what were your spoils you walked away? I believe you all ended up just splitting all the packs evenly.
It was we all ended up splitting. So there was an actual box in play for first place of MH3. We all agreed before the round that we were going to split, and we did. So it was 9 packs apiece or for MH3 for everyone, and then everybody kind of got different packs beyond that. We had, I think the split was 9 packs of MH3, 5 packs of Murders, and 2 packs of Neon Dynasty.
Cool.
I opened all of my MH3 packs, and the best thing I got was a special guest Dismember.
It's kind of cool. Oh, also.
And a Fury, but guess how much Fury is?
Oh my gosh, that's weird.
$3.
That's really?
Fury's $3.
My boy.
Let me see what version I have in my Jun Cube, and I might be interested in that.
Okay.
Also, Steven, the owner of Game Night, it was cool. He gave us all like the promo packs.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. And we pig out our promo packs.
And I laughed as soon as I opened, just cackling laughing as soon as I opened the pack.
You opened Portal of Phyrexia, and I opened Beseiju. So that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was.
But Cameron's on the play. He just plays his creatures, and I'm just like, cool. Portal.
And I Beseiju'd your Portal though.
Deal. It was super funny.
Do y'all want to talk about the challenges? Should we just talk about the Pauper showcase qualifiers? What are y'all feeling?
Since we're running, since our Bloomburrow card talk actually went a little longer than we expected, we're just gonna fly through some of these challenge results, some of this data to look at. Real quick, there was a Pauper showcase qualifier that happened on the 20th, and we just want to give a quick shout out to the winner, Spock Vita Loca, on their trusty blue-red Is It Terror list with Scred. They've been doing well with the list for quite some time, and cool to see. I believe this directly cues them for the mocks, so that's really, really sweet. So we will see Spock Vita Loca playing in that 8-player, very prestigious event. A couple other things that I wanted to shout out just from the top 8 lists, and then we can go through the data and see how that's supported beyond top 8. We got a lot of, between the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday challenge, Mono Blue Terra list really picked up a lot of momentum, and that could, then maybe that's because of, things shifting in terms of the affinity or White Weenie or what have you.
Well, it got second place on Friday, and I think people probably just copied the list because it's like, hey, that deck hasn't popped up in a while.
It's been slowly rising for some time.
It's had a couple really good weekends, as far as percentages are concerned. It's the people that are the few people that are playing it, their win percentages are all very strong.
Yes, and their lists all look pretty different. There are 3 top 8 lists in the Saturdays challenge The first place list has no boomerangs and 4 copies of Demon Inferior from MH3. This is the tuck spell that costs less if you've drawn for each card you've drawn in a turn. They have a full 4 of those in the main. Also, a couple of Sleep of the Dead in the sideboard, which I thought was super sick. This is a blue mana for sorcery. Tap creature. It doesn't untap, and then you can escape it for 2 and a blue and exile in 3 cards. So that's
sick.
really sick. Just like tap down in all their chrysalises and just keep getting in. And then the other one of the other lists in top 4 from Brivinex, which I believe Brivinex is a regular mono blue player, only had 3 copies of Demon Fury, 1 in the main, 2 in the board, and had all 4 boomerangs and a couple 4 spikes in the main. And then if we look real quick at the other top 8 list here, no, that's Brivinex. What do I wear?
Thomas, where'd you go?
Here we go. From Azoto Yellow, they've got an Artful Dodge in their deck. They have an Out of Air in their deck. Only 3 Cryptic Serpents. So there's a lot of variation between these lists. I personally would lean a little bit more into the Brivinex build. I think Boomerang is really, really sick. Just a good answer to a lot of problematic things, especially in a brood scale world. Just being able to bounce lands is pretty sick too.
I was like, say being able to like Stone Rain your opponent on turn 2 is pretty fire.
Yeah.
Especially if it has
besides
a spell attached to it.
Besides that, White Weenie continues to have good results, and we also had a 2nd place finish in the Sunday Challenge. Doblep finished 2nd with Elves, which is really nice to see.
Let's go.
Yeah, Elves had a really good win rate too, like over the weekend too. Just like,
yeah,
I don't know if it's just it got carried from like this one person.
Probably.
But
I would imagine that has something to do with the only like actual wrath, or not the only one. Sorry, the most common wrath right now being Cart Clan Shaman. That's like, I guess, the de facto wrath that people are playing. If you just don't get paired against that card, then you just kind of have like pretty smooth sailing.
Well, and Crypt Rats from Golgari, because we're still seeing Gardens kind of have its resurgence. Man, and that's what's nice about this format too. It's like we say like a deck has a bad weekend or two and people are so quick to dismiss it, and then just somebody pops up and like wins. Like somebody won that super qualifier with Gardens, and ever since then we've been seeing Gardens pop up again. And now like with Madness hasn't been performing super well either, and so now we're kind of seeing Madness go on a downtrend.
Same with the Brood Scale deck too.
Yeah, and same with the Brood Scale deck. Well, it had like one of the challenges that had like a 30 or 40% win rate, and then one of the other challenges that had like a 52% win rate, which is perfectly reasonable. So it's like there's still like reasonable decks. Like I say this a lot, like Magic decks wax and wane. Just because the deck you like doesn't perform well on a certain weekend doesn't mean it's a bad deck by any means. I think
Correct.
Gardens is a very good example of that. And now I'm just waiting for the Madness resurgent.
I have something to bring to your attention if you like Madness.
Yeah.
If you
I
want
just saw
to take
this
a look
too.
at the 5th place list from Sunday's challenge from Floyza, this is a Gruul Madness deck. Also with Sneaky
This is
Snacker. This thing is super
sick deck.
Super sick. This is an awesome brew. So we're playing the Faithless Lootings, the Highway Robberies as ways to discard. We are also playing a couple of Cathartic Reunions, which is the 2-mana red sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, you discard 2 cards and then draw 3. And you're playing your Sneaky Snackers to discard, your Fiery Tempers, as well as 4 copies of Basking Root Wallow, which is just a green 1-mana 1/1. That for 1 and a green, you can pump it +2/+2 once a turn, but it also has a Madness cost of 0, so you can just put it into play for free off of your discards. Still playing the Epicures, playing a couple Scrapwork Mutts, a full 4 of the Goblin Tomb Raiders, because you're a much more like really quick, low to the ground, aggressive deck with this sort of lineup. A couple Lightning Bolts, 3 copies of Rancor. This is my favorite inclusion of the deck, because Rancor, for those who don't know, is a very old card that's been reprinted a handful of times. It's a green mana for an aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and trample, and when Rancor is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you get to return it to your hand. So you basically, unless it gets countered or the creature you're trying to enchant it with dies with this on the stack, Rancor is basically going to come back to your hand anytime. So you can just keep attacking with impunity and not worry about having to like, oh, I have to protect my creature that has an ore on it. Like, nope, you're just going to get the Rancor back in your hand and just put another permanent 2 damage and trample on something else down the line. Like, this deck is sick.
Underplayed card for Pauper. Like, Rancor is such like a dope card, and it does not
a really good card.
See the love it needs.
Yeah, it's just that like the problem we've discussed several episodes back is that green is just like not
a creative
the best color. It's not. Well, sorry, I'm sorry. It's not the most aggressive color. I think it's the better way to say that.
Yeah, and it doesn't like
the way it lands in the format. Like it doesn't need to be aggressive.
Yeah, and
like
the cards like don't replace themselves a ton. Besides like the 3 mana 2/2 that draws a card, and Rancor replacing itself with itself.
And, like, to that point, like, Rancor is the only main deck card that you actually spend green mana on, unless you want to just, like, face up cast a Root Wallow, which you're probably never going to do, besides, like, a couple Weather the Storm and 3 Declaimers in the board. Like, otherwise, everything is just red mana.
You gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Red is for sure the aggressive king. The white weenie coming. I was
gonna say, I don't know about
for
that.
its throne. Coming for the throne. Anything else y'all want to chat about from the challenges real quick? Anything from the data that stood out to you?
No, I think the mono blue thing was really the biggest thing that stood out to me, as well as the mono white deck continuing to put up good results, which is good news.
Yeah, like one of the days it had like a 45% win rate, which isn't like terrible or anything. It's just like that's going to happen if a deck sees a ton of play. And
yeah,
like,
people are excited to play. It's a deck that hasn't seen a lot of play in a long time, like a lot of consistent play in a long time. So the fact that it performed well, across a weekend, is going to make people want to gravitate towards it and see what's up.
And that was the Saturday challenge where it had the lowest win rate, and that was also it was the most played deck, and Gardens being the third most played deck. Only one less copy of Gardens being played, so maybe like they ran into a bunch of Gardens, which I can see being a hard matchup.
Yeah, that matchup seems really hard, actually.
Yep, and as we said, like it has in Grixis Affinity, it's still hanging out at like that 50 to 53% win rate too. So Grixis Affinity is still doing really, really well, despite Dust to Dust and stuff being very strong. I think Hippo and I played a quick game of Mono White versus Grixis Affinity, and it was very much
play draw dependent.
It very much, can I land a Mirror Enforcer before I get Stone Rain out of the game?
Yeah, well, that and
because there were games where you casted Revoke Existence and Dust to Dust, and I still won just because it's like I had 3 Mirror Enforcers in play.
Yeah, if you're just able to like power out some Mirror Enforcers, that's very good.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I don't have a ton of main deck answers for them, so it's kind of hard. And also, I think another huge point on the Grixis Affinity side is if you're able to cast Deadly Dispute into any of those like exile lands.
Yeah, and
that's huge.
That's what we talk about being on the play. Like when I won game 1, you won game 2, and game 2 I'm just like, man, this is so awkward because it's just like if I was on the play, I could play a tap land, play a land, and you go to blow up something, I could at least draw 2 cards, hit another land, and make a treasure.
Yeah, but instead I'm able to turn to Revoke Existence your tap land, and then you're just like you're 2 turns behind now.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is just, it's really hard. But yeah, the game's not entirely decided by the land destruction, but it does certainly help, obviously. And being on the play on the mono white side is huge there.
Coolio.
Shall we sign off?
Let's go.
If you made it this far, thank you so much
Jesus
for
Christ
listening with your ear holes. If you would like to support us in any way, the best thing you can do is tell your family and friends about us and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you listen to us with your ear holes. If you have any questions for us, you could DM us or add us, either 3 of us, on Twitter. That will be in the description below, as well as our email, commongroundmtgpod@gmail.com. And so if you have any questions, hit us up. Sometimes we take your ideas and run with them. We take them and run. And credit you first, though, after we run.
Yeah, people deserve credit for their ideas. All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening, fam. We love
Everybody
you.
get out of my house. Bye.
Bye.
I'm not even in your house.
I know. No, all the listeners are in my house currently.
I am in your house.
No, all the listeners. Whenever the listeners listen, they are in my house.
I hate to burst your bubble, but this is not a robin.
Do we have our aviary?
What do you think it is?
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!